Hi everyone, it's kilzhot from 99 Gaming's The Walking Dead Season 8, second half, Negan Must Die. Yes, we're going to discuss why it needs to happen, how it potentially could happen, and we're going to revisit some of those dark moments from the past that we sort of put to the side. I know there's some Negan fans out there and they think he's good for the show, and I've tried to sort of open up and say, you know, what storyline could make me accept Negan, and I just hit a roadblock. I can't do it, I won't do it, and I'm going to say, if it happens the way it is in the comics, it's going to be very tough to write that into the emotion of people who are watching the show. And we're going to go through several bullet points today. I'm going to ask you for your opinion as well. Hopefully you guys are having a good night. And I know Pete D is probably going to drop in here in a moment. So I just want to say, even whether Pete drops in to do a super chat or not, this show is going to be brought to you by Pete D, because he's been going crazy with super chat donations lately. So I want to give him a special shout out. And thanks for everything that you guys are doing for this channel. So here's kind of a little bit of the way it works. These are podcasts. They're like radio broadcasts. We're going to talk about a bunch of different topics. People cannot see all the stuff that's streaming along the side. So I will call on you. If you don't want your comments included in video, be careful what you type. And also, if you guys could just slap that like button, get this thing going. And once this video is over, it's going to last about 30 minutes. Then make sure you leave some comments on the comment section so people that do not get to hear everything live and are watching the playback can see some of your comments that we may have addressed or may not have addressed. So let's get this thing going and talk about Negan and why I feel like he's got to die. I've been wavering on this back and forth, but with a new showrunner and Robert Kirkman being kind of out there in left field, not as much creative content control any longer, I think the time is ripe for a brand new enemy. So let's talk about some reasons why. First of all, we have to go based on what Rick said. We're assuming that Carl's death is going to lead to the war dying down, the war ending, some of those things happening. But I don't think that's a good concept. I mean, Carl is definitely wise beyond his years, but is Carl going to be the person that ends the war? Or let's just kill him. Let's just kill Negan, and then we don't have to worry about whether we can trust him, whether we can break him, whether we can not break him. And ultimately, that's what it's going to boil down to. It's going to boil down to whether Rick can break Negan and in turn break the Saviors, or if they just kill Negan. And I'm going to go back to really where this all began. So it all began with Negan's personality. Negan has to make a point. You know, I get it. I mean, what would you guys do? You got a food shortage. You have to have a system. You feel like the Saviors are cleaning up the walkers, that you have purpose. So you can't just give crazy food out there. And also, Petey Wheatstraw. You know what? This will be a. I got interrupted by a super chat donation. So I got Pete D and Petey Wheatstraw both doing super chat donations. So this show will be sponsored by both. It'll be a dual sponsorship. Thank you as well. I got a couple of heavy hitters that do super chat donations every time. So thank you so much, Petey Wheatstraw, as well. And no, I'm not giving him credit. They are two separate entities. So thank you. So, and what I need a theory though, Petey. We need the Petey theory before the end of the show, because I'm going to go through some of the things that I think are going to happen. So Negan could have shot Rick. You know, there you go. Rick cuts a deal. They have a system. They're running out of food. He wants to look good for the hilltop and take care of business, and then he didn't realize what he's up against. They go in the outpost and they just kill a bunch of people. So Negan had them in a compromising situation. So he could have just gotten them all up there and said, you know what, you killed a whole lot of my men. Bam. Shoots him, it's over. Yes, you know, there's going to be a little bit of backlash. But then you go in, you take control of your people. But that's not the way he did it. He did it in such a gruesome, taunting, and we know it was from the comic, and that was his personality. But it was, you know, the stage. You know, they pulled all the resources to get everybody there. You hear the whistling, you get them there, you got a pregnant woman, Maggie's in bad shape, and then he has to give this speech in front of everybody. Not necessary. Necessary to be his character, but not necessary in the whole scheme of things. Then he beats down Abraham, and what does he do? He taunts Rosita. So he's getting enjoyment out of this. And these are all the reasons why I find it hard to believe that we're going to have a universe where Rick, Maggie, Daryl, Dwight, and Rosita can all exist with Negan. So we're going to go through each person, and I'm going to ask you right now, yes or no, do you think that they will follow the comic arc and Negan will be spared and become partners with Rick? Yes or no? I had a feeling it would go down the comic path, but now, more and more that I think about it, I don't think it's possible. I don't think they're going to be able to write that in and cater to the emotions of the viewers. Epic Vid says, yes, maybe, because I think the viewers want to see Rick exact revenge. So several people are coming out saying, yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think it's going to happen. E-Beach says he's a draw for the show. Denise says no. Maybe Negan is holding the ratings back a little bit. Maybe people want to see the group prosper. You know, you get a villain for a little bit and then the villain's got to go. But it is different. In Hippo, I get it. I mean, Negan's the reason why you bothered watching the show, because you knew Negan from the comics. But it is different. There's a different vibe, a different feeling with the Negan in the comics and the Negan on the TV show. Paris says, we need a payoff. Negan has to go. Okay, let me give you some of the difficulties in... Let's pretend there's no comic, all right? I know it's hard to do. Now put yourself in the TV perspective of Maggie. How is Maggie going to ever look at Rick again? There's no way Maggie's partnering with Negan. How about Daryl? Put yourself in the position of Daryl. Do you ever see Daryl and Negan out on a fishing trip? Daryl wants to kill Dwight. Let's go back, all right? When this is all over, I'm going to kill that son of a bitch. If Daryl wants to kill Dwight, how do you think he feels about Negan? How about Dwight times 10? Okay. Now, how about Dwight? Dwight, I mean, well, we'll go back. Daryl was buck naked, fed dog food, tortured. Dwight got his face burnt with an iron. His wife had a relationship with Negan. How is Dwight ever going to be partners with Negan? Hell no. And how about Rosita? Rosita's already tried to shoot Negan. She's already went on a rampage to try to hunt him down with Sasha to kill Negan. No. No, no, absolutely not, Kel. Kel says, when there's a bigger, stronger enemy, you would team up with anyone who would help you and your loved ones survive. There is no way I'm teaming up with Negan. In fact, I'm going to kill Negan, and then I'm going to team up with all those people that need a leader. You don't need this one person. I understand. I understand mercy prevailing over wrath, but I'm going to start questioning the writing again. If we have issues with the writing with Carl, I'm going to have more issues with the writing if Maggie and Negan get along. Rick, by keeping Negan alive, is going to isolate himself from Maggie, Daryl, Dwight, and Rosita at a minimum. We're going to open up for comments. Okay, I want to identify that comment because I really want to put you on the spot here. Kel made the comment. I see Whitney with the same comment. When there's a bigger, stronger enemy. So let me hypothetical here for the people that agreed with that comment. So let's just say Kel or Whitney, your significant other's with you, and you were side by side, and this person just beat them down with a baseball bat in front of you. Taunted them, mocked them, just destroyed them. And then there was a couple months later, Soviet invasion. And you're looking around for people to help you with the Soviet invasion. You're going to that person that danced around, pranced around, taunted the person they were beating down with a baseball bat? Absolutely not. There's no way. There is zero chance that you're going to do that. I get it. I get what happened in the comic books. But it's different. I can't tell you enough. Now, if this person is the leader over a bunch of those people, within the Saviors, the people that didn't actually wield the bat, yes, there are people that joined Negan that were afraid to speak up against him. But they weren't all cheering. They were afraid. They were trying to look the other way. There's a difference between soliciting the help of some of the Saviors and sparing the person who is the very extent of the evil. There's no way you can sell me on that. So, no matter how big the enemy is, this is why I think it's going to be a real difficult sell to the audience. Because I cannot see these characters, even for Carl. I cannot see Maggie forgiving Negan. I cannot see Daryl forgiving Negan. I cannot see Dwight, who lost everything. Dwight has nothing. He's got no face. He's got no friends. Got no wife. All because of Negan. Took everything away from him. Whitney, if there's a zombie herd, I'm going to shoot Negan, and then they're going to feed on him. I'm not going to say, hey, buddy, help us out with this. It's not. And I think some of the partiality to this is because there's some of you that want it to play out the way the comic plays out, because you're kind of spoiled with that. All I'm saying is, there's no way I need this one person. How so? Epic Vids brings up a point. He says, Negan is more useful alive than dead. How so? This is a very, and you know this is going to split the crowd. It's a very scrupulous question. So, I guess this is, Whitney, this is the point. So, and I argued this. So, Carl's last wish, let's say Carl's last wish is don't kill Negan. If I'm Maggie, I'm probably going to say, I'm sorry, who's Carl? Because Glenn's last wish was probably kill that son of a bitch. So now, let's see, do I want to take action because of Glenn, or do I want to take action because of Carl? And I'm probably going to be like, what? Why? Kill the leader, show everybody he was a bad leader, and move on. Rick has said it, not today, not tomorrow. So let's get into this, because keep in mind, Daryl wasn't in the comics. So is it worth, there's no way Daryl is going to get along with Negan. It's not going to happen. Write these words down. We will not be having this conversation in season 10 where Daryl, Negan, and Rick are all sitting around the campfire. Zero chance that's going to happen. So to the diehard TV show fans out there, is it worth, to Rick, is it worth losing all his trust of people, all his friendships, to keep this guy alive? Okay, a couple other things here we want to touch on. So, as we said before, here's Negan's behavior. Held true from the comics, so we know. Killed Glenn, killed Abraham Glenn, tortured Rosita, killed Spencer, burned Dwight, burned Mark, and let's also say the character of Negan has a lot of women in compromising situations that they don't want to be in, and they have no choice. Is this really a person that we need to keep alive? Jake, I would argue, Jake says, kills, how do they end the war if Negan is killed? If you write it that way, I understand. Because we're going to be, if they write it that way as viewers, we're going to be sabotaged into, almost brainwashed into believing that's the only way they can end the war. However, I think you could kill him and end the war. And say, hey, this is the guy that has been holding your food hostage. This is the guy who's been burning people with an iron if they step out of line. This is the guy who's been beating people with a baseball bat. Bang. Okay, he's gone. Now, that's why there's a death penalty. They've killed many. And I would go back and argue that if Negan would have done that with Rick it might have been a different situation. I know it wouldn't have happened. I know it wouldn't have played out that way. But he wanted to keep Rick alive. How did that work out? Okay, let's actually use that as an example. Let's use Negan's theory, Negan's philosophy of not killing. It's a good point, Brandon. So Brandon Hutton says, kills, the women have a choice. They don't have to be his wife. They can live like the rest and work for points. True, but they still want to kill him. So what I'm asking you to do is sort of take a deeper dive into the psychology of the writing and the psychology of Negan. And it's easy for us to kind of get on the back of the motorcycle and go wherever it takes us. But truly good writing, they're going to have to deal with some of these questions that come up. This is why I love The Walking Dead, because I want to know what each character is thinking. Let's not also forget that they did want Maggie, Ezekiel, and Rick's head on a stake. Okay, let's also go back to what ifs. In episode number 1, season 8, see, this is where some of you are being taken for a ride here. So we got to backtrack, because you're drinking the Kool-Aid, the Carl Kool-Aid, and saying, okay, now it's the only way it can happen. Let's go back to episode number 1. What was the plan to end the war, starting out this season? This is, we're going to test the memory here. I'm going to get fired up tonight. I'm about to get fired up and go into rant mode. So, stop. Stop typing random shit. All right, let's get back to it, everybody. What was the plan in episode number 1 to end the war? Kill Negan. There you go. Casey, you get points. The plan was to do what? It was to go in all these different areas, and it was to kill Negan. It was to storm the sanctuary. It was to kill his lieutenants. And it was to recruit and free up a few of these people that deserved it. That was the plan. DP Games Derek says what? Only one has to die. Thank you. All right. I need to erase like 5 or 6 episodes from some people's memory, because you guys are getting stuck on the same thing. And look, I don't blame you, because I was too. Remember, we did some of these live streams, and I'm like, okay, I get it. Carl's the one that's going to end the war, and it may happen that way. I'm not saying it's not. But let's not forget that the plan was to kill Negan. And that is still Rick's plan. Even in the teaser that you guys saw when he's on the radio, he's like, I'm going to kill you. So Rick still has that vengeance. Maggie has that vengeance. Daryl has it. Dwight has it. Rosita has it. Take those 5 people. It is going to be awfully hard to change the behaviors of all 5. I can't change the behaviors of 100 people in this live stream right now. So Daryl, just understand the challenge of the writers. That if they kill Carl and try to end the war, it's going to be tough. If they kill Negan, it's still going to be tough, because some of the diehard comic fans. So that's why I wanted to open up the debate tonight and talk about Negan may very well die. It may be the easiest path forward, and it may change the storyline. I know it's hard because of what we already know, but if you take everything that you know out of the equation, rip up the comic book, put it to the side just for a second, and live in the moment of the characters, then you'll have a new perspective of how hard this is going to be. And then if you do it that way, it doesn't seem totally out of the realm of possibility. Kill Negan. Maybe some of the saviors do join, and things wind down a little bit. Maybe Simon becomes an enemy. They are going to ramp up the violent nature of Simon. But I still don't know, even if Negan and Rick are partners, there's still going to be people that are out for themselves. Absolutely, Missy. The writers have boxed themselves in, no doubt about it. And Epic Vids, I don't disagree with you. So Epic Vids actually says, Rick is going to understand in order to be better than Negan, you must not follow in his footsteps, lock him up, let him see you build a society. Don't disagree with that at all. I think that that is the gist of the conversation. But you also have to agree, Maggie may not fly with that. Dwight may not fly with that. Daryl may not fly with that. And Rosita may not fly with that. And I will ask this question. Do you think Daryl is going to be okay with that? Negan gets locked up. Let me take a few of Daryl's reactions. Those of you that know Daryl and you know Daryl's character up to this point, he's been very consistent. How does Daryl react to Negan being locked up? Debbie Martin says Daryl will not accept anything except death for Negan. Northside Queen said Daryl's going to leave. Jenna Crockett says never. Scott says Daryl and Dwight will leave. Michelle, he won't like it. Pissed. Maybe that's when he leaves. All right. Thank you. So, now I got you guys where I want you. Who's a bigger moneymaker for the show? Daryl or Negan? So now we had Carl versus Negan. And supposedly we had to kill Carl to advance Negan's storyline. You're going to lose Daryl over Negan? Daryl goes away. Daryl leaves the show. Daryl goes through a time skip. So now we got a bigger issue on our hands, don't we? So, in theory, Epic Vids, I'll agree with what you said. We lock Negan up, and Rick needs to show that in order for society to be better, we got to lock him up. We haven't even got to Michonne yet. Michonne may, if Carl wants it to happen this way, Michonne may be on board with that. So, not going to be happy about it. Dwight and Daryl take off. We've talked about it. And they go out looking. Shannon says Daryl leaves the group. So now we're at a crossroads where we have people saying that, okay, we're okay as an audience and we're okay as writers to lock Negan up and let Daryl walk. I'm not sure about that. Oh no, Michelle, there is no way. There is no way that Daryl is living in Alexandria with Negan there. Unless he personally goes over and feeds him dog food. But no. If Daryl wants to kill Dwight, I'm telling you, you take that tenfold. That's his animosity toward Negan. I need a Petey theory. Did you guys forget that just a couple episodes back, Daryl drove a garbage truck into the sanctuary against Rick's wishes to kill Negan himself? How many people forgot about that? So please don't tell me that Daryl's going to be okay with Negan living there. Daryl has already went renegade mode to try to kill Negan himself. All right, let's get a Petey theory in here. Petey with the super chat. I'm telling you, we are fired up. This is a fired up debate tonight. I'm not letting you guys off the hook. I'm calling people out tonight. That's a good theory, Tommy. You could just write it up as Carl and say, you know, he didn't know what he was talking about. He was bit. He was sick. Blame it on the bite. I'm waiting for my Petey theory. Yes. Those are actually spoilers, Petey. Because this season has already been written. Those are all true statements. There is a car chase. However, that is not where Negan gets imprisoned. There is a car chase, there is a car wreck, and I think it is going to be the second phase of the Rick and Negan fight. But let's not get too far ahead with spoilers, because that's just limited information. The reason I wanted to give you guys the hypothetical is I'm not disagreeing. There's three things at work here. Okay, there's the writers that we have to watch as fans. Stick with me here, please. There is the wants and the needs that we have for the show. And then there are real-world comparisons, okay? It's hard to make total real-world comparisons because if you make extreme examples, then sometimes it's like, okay, well, it's not the same kills as a TV show. But if you're actually going to put yourself into the role of the character, you have to think of a real-world example. So remember, writers' actions, which we have no choice, what we think and what we want to happen in real-world examples. I'll get back to that in 1 second. Hassan Shabazz with a super chat donation says, just like you need Negan supporters for the debate, unfortunately we need Negan at some point during war. Gonna not disagreeing. So let me go through all three of those phases, and then we're going to wind it down, because we like to keep these around 30, 35 minutes. But I want to kind of plant some seeds, give you a little food for thought. We're probably going to pick this back up tomorrow, just so you know. So the writers, it's already written. What happens, happens. And as Petey said just a minute ago, there's a chase scene. There's some things that happen. We know about the bar scene. However, that's not the scene where Negan gets imprisoned. Then there's the things that we're all doing right now, like, okay, well, why should Rick not kill him? Well, Rick wanted to kill him, but now Carl may tell him not to kill him. Okay, these people. So these are all the things that each of us are going to have a different perspective. And then there's the thing that we can always go back to and say, what would we do if we were in that situation? If somebody did something so extreme to you or to someone you care about, how likely would you be to turn the other cheek and not do something about it? And I don't want to go through really extreme examples because it's going to get too real. And that's why I used the other one, if you were beaten down. But there's a lot of things that you can fault Negan for. And I would almost say that if you were beside someone and you saw Negan pick up a doctor and throw him into a furnace, and you had to watch that person burn alive, I won't put myself in that example, but I will say, I will, but I'll put myself in a different example. If I'm standing here and I'm with a friend, and one of you picked up my friend and threw him into a furnace, one, I would probably lose my life trying to save that person. Now, I understand a lot of people in the sanctuary are self-preservationists, and a lot of people in Alexandria are. But I'm just saying most of us would probably lose it at that moment. But if you're telling me that after watching you do that, that if there's another threat out there that you and me are going to be buddies, I'm going to tell you it ain't going to happen. Period. So the last question that I'm going to ask each of you before we wind this down, if you were side by side with someone and someone threw them into a furnace, beat them down with a baseball bat, burned them with an iron, could you see yourself potentially being partners with that person? That's what I would like to know. So leave your thoughts and comments, and we will wind this thing down. I told you, it's going to get real tonight. Don't give me the same regurgitated information. I see it. I know you guys are pulling from the comics. Don't pull from the comics. I'm asking you a simple, straightforward question, because we talked about what the writers are going to do. We talked about what we think is going to happen. Now I'm going to give you a real-world example. So in a real-world example, would you partner with that person? Yes or no? Never. So we got somebody coming out of the gate saying never. Michelle Wolf says, hell no. Chet says, hell no. Maggie says, not a chance in hell. Deja Vu says, nope. Northside Queen said, I will F them up. And Jack says, yes, they're badass. Okay. If it was real, I don't think. Of course not, says Deborah Mooney. Michelle says no. Tommy says we ain't cool anymore. If anyone says yes, come on, people, really? This is the challenge the writers have right now, because this is what's happened. Keep in mind, Daryl was there mopping the floor. Daryl saw it. Daryl was there when Glenn and Abraham died. Daryl was locked in a prison. Daryl was mopping the floor when Mark got an iron to his face. So of all the people who have seen it, Daryl has probably been exposed to more of it than anybody else. And on that note, this is why Negan must die. So I want to thank all of you guys for being here. Like I said, this was going to be a heated debate. We're going to get into some of these from time to time. It's what keeps our... we get some good theories. We get some good motivation out of some of these. But keep in mind, whenever... Because this is what is so good about The Walking Dead. If you want to make it real, you can come up with examples of what you would do in those situations. Of course, we're going to agree and disagree on just some of the direction of the show. But ultimately, it is what the writers kind of say it is. And as a fan... There's sometimes I want the writers to take me down that path. There's sometimes I don't want to be overly manipulated with, and I don't want to forget the feelings and the moments of what those people had. Because the only way for me to think of what Daryl might do is to put myself in Daryl's situation. So I appreciate all of you guys being here. This is the 999 Army. This is what we do. We're going to have definitely some scrupulous questions from time to time. And I like the passion. I like the fire. Thank you so much, John 002, John O2C, also Petey Wheatstraw, Hassan Shabazz. I appreciate all of you guys with your super chat donations. And everybody else is here tonight. Thank you for your fire, your passion. When this video goes live, get over and leave some comments because let some other people jump on there and give the debate as well. You know, when we talked about Carl dying, there's some passionate people around that. We talk about any character leaving the show, whether it's Negan or anybody else. There's always going to be... that fire. So we're going to wind this thing down, and I want to say thank you once again. If you're watching the playback, this is closing credits. And if you are still here, give me a quick 999. I want to give some shout outs for all the thoughts. Agree or disagree, there was some really good, thoughtful debate here tonight, and that is what we do here. Thanks, everybody. I want to say what's up to the Hippo. Thank you, Hippo. Deja Vu, thank you for being here. DDA Ohio, Jake Turgeon, Wayne, OU Crawfish, IROC 6, Steph the Cuervo Queen Richardson, Northside Queen, thank you. Petey Wheatstraw is just killing the super chat donation tonight. This is what makes the 999 Army great, is that we're going to get together and debate things, and we're going to be back here tomorrow, and we'll debate something differently. We're just going to get those thoughts out there. Beth Brigette, thank you for being here. Uganda, appreciate you being here. KCF, Kelsa Smile. Also, Tommy Sweetass, the Sweet-Ass Enforcer McCandless. Tommy, we're going to have to add another title to your name. Emmy Bacon, thanks for being here. Steph the Cuervo Queen. Debbie Martin, thank you. Ricky Baranowski, thank you. Melinda Kettler, thank you for being here. FT, what's up, FT? Uncanny Pigeon, good to see you again. Michelle Wolf, thank you. Iraq. Absolutely, Hassan Shabazz. A shout out for your father, Maurice Shabazz. Absolutely. And thanks for bringing him in here. Hopefully you enjoyed a little bit of the show tonight. X-Link, thank you so much. Appreciate you being here. Missy Ann. Blood Eagle. What's up, Blood Eagle? Those people are still here, too. We're going to do... I'm still working with Steph the Cuervo Queen Richardson, just so you guys know. I'll do a few more shout-outs in a minute. But we're going to do the kill shot, which is going to be a random person. It's going to be picked. We're going to do it probably every couple weeks, giving out some Walking Dead gear, and also we'll do some future T-shirt things. I know we did the sub-celebration, but a couple people had asked me about T-shirts and some other things. So stay tuned. We'll probably kick this off middle of next week. But your participation, we're going to have a whole bunch of names. It'll be very random. So, you know, if there's a couple hundred people here, then you got 1 in a couple hundred chance of winning. But we're going to call it the, I don't know, we'll come up with some clever name. Kill shot of the day, something along that sounds so brutal. Maybe you don't want to win that. Shot of the day, I don't know, whatever. You'll get something for free. How about that? Maggie Bonacorda, thank you. Just want to make that quick announcement. Shannon Brown, we will be here. We're going to do a stream tomorrow night. Different topic. But I'm sure some people will still be fired up with this one as well. Hey, thanks so much, Ricky. I appreciate that. I love doing the show for you guys, and more than anything else, I love hanging out with you guys because this show, I mean, you're your feedback, your kick messages, your ideas. These are things that we discuss. And yeah, it's a good direction. We had some really good debate topics from you guys. What's up, Firebreak? RM, thank you for being here, man. John O2. Hey, thanks again, John. Appreciate you and Petey and the whole gang. And also shout out to all my Patreon supporters as well. And we got a cameo from Michelle Yang. Thanks for being here, Michelle. Arena Hunter, thanks for being here as well. What's up, Rabbit? Thanks, man. I'm hanging around a little bit. I want to get, I think I missed some people with shout-outs because I started doing them and then I had to get that public service announcement in there. Epic Vids 8. What's up, Epic Vids? Hey, thanks. Really good dialogue, really good chat. Appreciate your ideas tonight, man. Good stuff. Scott Kernan, thank you so much. Good seeing you, Scott. Brene, I almost miss you, Brene. Watch the playback. There's some fired up stuff tonight. Whitney, thank you so much. Appreciate you being here. Oh, sorry, ma'am. Or man. I said man, not ma'am. But you are gender neutral. You're just a couple letters, RM. Thank you for being here, RM. How about that? Valerie Feldman, thank you for being here. Anakin. I saw you squeak in there, Anakin. Jenna Crockett, thank you so much. John Brody, thanks for being here. You guys get to see me fired up sometimes. Usually I'm kind of mellow. Something about Negan that gets me passionate, though. I just can't forgive that dude. All right, everybody. If I missed you in a shout-out, make sure when this video goes live, just leave some comments. I will see you all tomorrow night at 9:30. Peace.